welcome to another episode. I'm Nan Ross from nandaleross.com. Today's topic is how to manifest using some sleep techniques. Stay tuned. Imagination creates your reality. Look, I'm a firm believer of visualizations or imagination throughout the day. Like I visualize when I'm waiting online, when I'm waiting on someone, even when I'm walking. But in the beginning, it was really challenging. So when we're in this beta brainwave stage, which you actually awake, you're conscious, there's a lot of more activities that goes on in the brain. So we're reasoning, we're making decisions, we're problem solving, we're rational thinking. So when we try to visualize our desires during the day, it could be quite difficult, a little harder to focus. So instead of just giving up, say, I can't do this, I found another way or another time of the day, which is imagination and visualizing before bedtime. It's very, very powerful. So this technique that I'm going to share with you today in this video, not only is very powerful, but I used to do this technique years ago, but didn't realize the effect. All I know is that it manifests. So I remember I used to put on some music before I went to bed, and I would just visualize or imagine the outcome of a specific situation. I mean, it could be trying to get a new gig or a new job or moving to an apartment or just moving out of state, going on a trip, doing some type of performance or some type of speaking engagement. I would just play it out as it was like perfect. Like I was in this movie and with the music and certain beats of the music just got me so like amped and crunk. Like I was doing that years ago. But here's the reason why imagination and visualization is more effective, and it manifests faster while you drifting off to sleep. So our brain waves starts to slow down when we're about to go to bed. So it goes from beta, the waking and the conscious stage, to alpha. And in alpha, our brain is actually in this light meditative state. We're more relaxed. We tend to think less. While our conscious mind, that logical, analytical mind, that ego, eventually is at rest. So now our subconscious mind is more receptive to receiving messages or thoughts. So think about it, there's no power struggle between the two minds. So here's what you do. While you're in bed, I want you to imagine the outcome of your desire as if you have already received it, or if it's been done. Now, don't get really excited because, it might keep you up all night. Trust me, I used to get so excited. Next thing I know, I have insomnia. But just have this joyous expectation on what's to come and how will you feel? I'd be at ease, or you'll be calm in the mind when you have eventually achieved that goal. Just feeling wonderful that you have received it. So here's a little secret. It's not just a thought that you manifest. It's the feeling behind the thought. So to help you feel that elevated emotion, you smile. You ever seen somebody sleeping, they just smile in their sleep? It's like they having a good dream. When you smile, there's magic behind that smile. You release that feel-good chemicals, that dopamine, that endorphin, and that serotonin when you smile. So when you release those chemicals, what it's going to do? It's going to raise your vibrational frequency, because that's what you want. You got to raise your frequency in order for you to manifest. Okay, so that's the first step. To imagine, and while you imagine, you smile. right? To increase your vibrational frequency is as you imagine and you visualize, hold it for at least 16 seconds at a time, up to 60 seconds. I know you're probably saying, why 16 seconds? Well, when you create a new thought or hold a new thought for 16 seconds, it creates a new neural pathways. Now, neural pathways are nerve cells that transmit signals to and from the brain, and they travel on this certain pathway. So it's like a highway in your brain, and the nerve cells are traveling 10 miles per hour. It's something new. It's responsible, this neural pathway is responsible for how we're going to act around different people or stimuli on a regular basis, on a daily basis. And this process happens when you have a new thought or change of routine or behavior. Remember, we cannot change our lives with the same thoughts. New thoughts create new habits. After you get in the habit of holding thoughts for 16 seconds, because we got very short attention span, we have to work our way up to hold the thought for 60 seconds. Those neurons that's been newly created from the 16 seconds will start to fire off faster in the pathway. Because the longer the thought, it will create some form of emotions. That's why I said in the beginning, start smiling. Okay, so when you hold the thought for 60 seconds, because now it's more focus, those neural pathway that was recently created when we first started is going to fire off faster in the pathway. A long thought is going to eventually create some type of emotions. Okay, so the goal is to hold on to a thought or vision, right? Hold on to a thought and a vision for at least 16 seconds. Our attention span is 8 seconds. So if you hold twice as long, then it's going to start creating those new neural pathways. Because our memories, childhood conditioning, what we learn, our skill sets have neural pathways. That's why when you first learn how to ride a bike, you're learning something new. So you actually creating this brand new pathway, right? So as you start to keep practicing and keep practicing and keep practicing, it keeps going back to that same neural pathway that was originally created. And now it gets faster because the skill sets, right? And as it gets faster, it gets faster, it gets faster, it turns into a habit. So, when it comes to manifesting your desires, you wait until A, when you're more receptive, which is the alpha stage. 2, you got the emotion behind it. So smile. Even if you have to listen to music, anything that's going to make you feel good or increase your vibrational frequency. Next step is to hold it for 16 seconds to start building and start creating new neural pathways. Because what you're going to do tomorrow night and the night before that, you're going to repeat those thoughts. It's going to go back to that same neural pathway. Same pathway. So in the beginning, it's going to take some practice, right? So if your mind seems to wander off when you're trying to focus on this thought, just refocus and smile. Refocus and smile. You got to remember, we have been so conditioned to stop imagining, visualize when we get a certain age, like stop imagining. And like I mentioned before, the example about riding a bike, you practice and eventually it will become easier and effortless. So as you repeat this process every night, your subconscious mind will start to take those thoughts and embed them in your mind as if it's your reality. The mind does not know the difference between reality or an imagined thought. from the past, present, or future. So as you drift off to sleep and have those thoughts, they're going to eventually start coming together and form a picture. Think of it as a puzzle. So that's why I said it takes time to manifest, to turn your thoughts into reality, into a physical realm, because it has to put certain pieces together. So think of it as a puzzle. So when you first start, as you hold on to that thought, you have the emotions behind the thought, you're going to start having the pieces, right? And then you fall asleep. And then tomorrow night, and then the day after that, and the day after that, and the day after that, you start going back to those same thoughts. It will start adding more pieces to the puzzle. Now you got a quarter of the puzzle, quarter of the image ready. And then you do it again. Every night, go back to those same thoughts. Same thoughts. And you start adding more pieces to the puzzle until the puzzle is complete. Now you have everything. Studies have shown that athletes that imagine that they were training in their mind during their off time boosted their performance. That's why they say sports is 90% mental and 10% physical. So after practicing this technique, visualizing and imagine that you have already received it, will become a new thought habit. To the point that every time you go to bed, you're going to remember to create this thought form. So just like any habit, it would become so natural. It wouldn't even require that much effort. So those are my tips to manifest using some sleep techniques. Want to share any tips? Place it in the comment box. Let me know what you think. Like, share, or subscribe. And until the next energy healing episode, namaste. Peace.